fake that dummy, ache my tongue.
You guys recently returned from the UK. Do you find that there's a difference in your audiences in the UK versus
Definitely.
the States?
Yeah, I mean they're more of a, I feel like maybe a musician's crowd. Like I feel like they pay more attention to like the little details. Like I feel like they would notice if I messed up, whereas maybe sometimes in the States it can go unnoticed. It's just a good time. Everybody's out to have a good time a little bit more, I think.
It's really interesting there. I mean, they're really fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, they're really paying attention. No, it's great. It's true. I mean, he kind of said it best, but like, you catch a different vibe there. It's intimidating in its own way. You know what I mean? Like we want to play, I guess, a little. I mean, we always want to play good, but I don't know. It just, you could really tell they're listening. They're paying attention. They're gonna know what's going on, and they'll ask you different questions when you get off stage. It's a different type of mood. It's a different type of drunk. It's a different type of tension.
Happy.
It's all
I
that,
feel like
you know?
when they get into it, it's a little different than when people here get into it, which I don't think is like, it's not necessarily thought out. It's just an inherent thing that people.
So Americans are oblivious, is that what you're saying?
No.
No, Americans aren't oblivious. I think Americans could have a better time regardless of what's going on musically sometimes, which is awesome. I mean, I'm an American. I think that's sometimes how I feel, but I think and like I said, there's a different type of, there's different moods.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's cool both places. Love America, love UK. It's always interesting going to both. Yeah.
Did you guys get to see any like must-see spots while you were there?
Maybe the first time, but not really. I mean,
we don't really have
shows and press.
That's a big misconception, I feel like, about bands, is that you get to go to all these luxurious places and you have all this time off. Whereas in reality, it's like you go somewhere, you get there just on time for load-in, then you sound check, play the show, go to sleep, wake up the next morning and do it again. Yeah. So you don't really get to see the sights that much.
Okay, let's do some fun questions. More fun. Any embarrassing moments on stage or tour?
I'm really bad at knowing my lyrics, and early on, we had a show at the El Rey Theater, and I didn't know my lyrics, so I took out my cell phone, like I'm doing right now, and to read the lyrics for one of the songs. I thought to myself, whatever, I'm just gonna do it. I just don't want to forget my lyrics. So I took out my cell phone, and when I took it out, it dropped, and I was like, oh God! Already I looked like a douche taking out my cell phone, and now I really look like a douche, like dropping it. So I learned my lesson. Now I just don't know my lyrics and just mumble things.
We've had some embarrassing moments on tour, though. We broke a window playing Frisbee somewhere, and it's.
I'm not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to say where we did it.
Did you cop to it and pay for it?
No,
'Cause otherwise it's coming out now.
No, we ran away, but I didn't even do it, and I was pretty embarrassed. We've talked about it before. We have.
Oh no, that's not what I'm like spacing out about. I don't know that word.
That's not like
No.
that's not
Window.
like that bad though. You know?
It's not that bad, but it's
trashing,
still like
hotel rooms or anything.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that we're not those guys. You know what I mean? We're not the kind of guys who are like, just disrespect other people's stuff.
Yeah.
So when it happened, it was like, oh man,
so sorry.
but we're not paying for it, so we're leaving.
So I know you guys are like best friends and brotherly love and all whatnot. Who butts heads the most in the band?
Wow, that's a pretty good question. I'll be honest, things have gotten. You hear on tour that most people in bands, you always hear about like after a couple years they all fucking hate each other. They can't even be they don't even sound check together. They hate each other.
Yeah.
I could confidently say I like everybody in the band more than I did when we started now.
Yeah, me too.
Because we've went through our tribulations. No trials.
No trials.
We
only
went through
tribulation.
we went through our tribulations with each other, and we've had our arguments and everything. But now I think we're pretty good.
I think it just depends. Certain people feel
Situational.
strongly about certain things. You know what I mean? Sometimes there will be something that two people can be butting heads on, and I'll be there and I'll be like, I don't even care. Or I'll be the one be like, no, we have to do it that way. You know what I mean? It kind of just, it's totally situational.
I think all of us could kind of say like, oh, I can speak for myself. I could be a bitch, and like, honestly, I could be a bitch to deal with, and I know that, and like, I know it's hard to butt heads with me sometimes, but like, I think anybody could honestly say like, yeah, well, I mean, I put up a fight for that, so I think it's because we're passionate about what we're doing, you know?
As long as you do, I mean, that just shows that you really care. As long as you do put up a fight for something that you really want, and something that you really believe in, then that's like, I'm not going to get mad at anybody for standing up for what they want, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So is there like someone that always wins? Or is it like equally depending on what you're arguing
It
about?
kind of depends.
Yeah.
I think you win a lot but I think it's because he has good points. because sometimes he'll think about things a little bit differently than we'll think about
Yeah.
it. So like he'll bring up something that'll initially seem absurd, like why would we do that? And then it turns out, oh, that's why we did it. We kind of had to flesh it out a little bit more because he thought about it for a while in his head before he brought it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes, like at least with me, it's just brain to mouth. I haven't necessarily thought it through the entire way.
And mine is pure. Vision. I hate using certain terms. I was gonna say heart to mouth, but like, you don't think with your heart, you think with your brain, no matter what. But like, you know what I mean? Like what I feel, I'm just like, and then sometimes I'll have to be like, Jesse, you're absolutely out of your mind, and I'm like, I know, but just trust me.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
Especially with stylistic stuff for certain things that we've done. Especially with me, I'm very like I'm not very forward thinking in that sense, and it's kind of like, hey, do this, and I'm like really, and then it's like I do it, and then I went to the Kendrick Lamar show in Vegas with this shirt on that he hooked me up with from this really cool company called Storm from Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And I went, and there was the minute I got there, some dude came up to me and was like raving about my shirt and was like, "Where'd you get that? I need one." And I was like, "Oh, I feel really cool. Like I didn't even know this was like a cool thing."
Yeah. I think style and fashion is like just the coolest thing. So like, I'm always, and it's always like you said, like we're really good friends. We're like brothers and everything. So it's always like, with that kind of stuff, some of us have stronger visions than others. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like style and clothing and stuff, I'm like so into it. And a lot of the guys are like, I mean, I don't really care, Jess, but if you really are telling me you think it looks good, then yeah, we'll try it. Why not? You
Leather
know?
skirt, in theory, thought it would look stupid. In reality, looks dope.
I think so.